everybody. Happy Wednesday. Happy Comic Book Day. I posted my my haul. It's now comic books come out on Tuesday and Wednesday. Tuesday were DC Comics. Wednesday are the rest of them. So I got a good amount of comics. I was very happy with it. And I look forward to reading them. I did read my Batman and my Deceased right away last night. They were both a lot of fun. Not perfect, but I think still enjoyable. Thank you, everybody. I've been working very hard on Mulan coverage. It's very, very difficult because the embargo lifts so late. Again, I don't know why it lifts so late. It's a great movie, in my opinion. My review will go up tomorrow at noon when the embargo lifts, but I had to get out in front of it, so I've been making a lot of videos today that will go up now and through the weekend. Happy birthday, Riptide! Belated birthday. So we have 3 really interesting stories to discuss today. And then, of course, as always, at the end of the stream, you can ask me anything you'd like for the final 10 minutes. But before we get started, we'll give everybody a little bit of time to come and get us, come join us. What's everybody up to? Tell me where you are, what you're doing. You have a snack. Don't forget we have a Mulan watch-along this Friday. Sanders started his or her first week of school in Amsterdam. I hope you're staying safe. Jonathan just finished work in Toronto. Oh, congrats, the day's over for you. I love it. Sean said, finishing off my friend's birthday cake here in London. Oh, it's birthdays for everybody. Ty No says, Grace, I'm not working. I made a stream. Oh, I'm so glad you were able to make it today. Triffy says, chilling in Munich, Germany. That's awesome. I love seeing you guys from all over the globe. Lisa Peterson is eating leftover birthday cake. Oh, when was your birthday, Lisa? Hugo's excited for Mulan. Let's see here. Max is sitting in bed enjoying his day off. Fantastic. Anase is in Phoenix working and eating a PB&J sandwich. Delightful. Let's see here. Super Steve is snuggling with his dog in Belgrade. Oh, I love it. A lot of you guys watch with your pets. I think that's great. Hi, Given by Gabriel. Elliot Buck II says, watching from LA, eating some leftover pizza. Delicious. Let's see here. Matt Guerrero says, working from Houston. Ned is watching from the UK. Madeline has foils in her hair, just like they can hear. So just feel like they can hear us in Mars. So you're at the salon. Let's see here. Dancing Dog 60s having a blueberry Pop-Tart. World of Devon saying hi from California. Barbershops and nail salons just opened up on Monday. Is that because of the Nancy Pelosi controversy? Let's see here. Douglas Macon says, cheers, everyone. Oh, Toon Linkmans is driving on I-85. Fantastic. Keep your eyes on the road. Christiana says, my last day of work in New Jersey before a vacation, celebrating your engagement. Congratulations. How wonderful. Oh, that's so great you got engaged during the pandemic. Hey, Sebastian, thanks for joining. If you're not familiar with streams, I always give shout-outs to anyone who joins during the stream. It's so wonderful that you got engaged. Congratulations. I'm so happy for you. Let's see here. Brian, Nancy Pelosi went to a closed hair salon and nail salon and got her hair and nails done, and it was not good for her. Because they were closed. Not cool. Madeline, I'm glad you're in a private room. That's great. And you're being safe at the salon. Braden is streaming from sunny Colorado doing college work. Christiana appreciates everyone's thank yous. And congratulations. Michael says chai latte in Chicago. Love it. Emilio says sketching some ideas while I drink coffee on a rainy afternoon in Lima, Peru. Oh, that sounds amazing. Oh, I can just see it. How wonderful. Sam Automatic is at home chilling. Ian Snyder is watching from Edinburgh, Scotland. I love it. Jico says mentally preparing myself for my Mulan review tomorrow. Oh, I hope you're going to love it. I filmed it yesterday. I have to edit it right after the stream. So much editing to do. Editing takes a lot of work. Twitter's taken up too much of my time. I feel that's partially what people are trying to do. I'm not going to let them. All right, Edinburgh. I was so proud of myself. I thought that I did it correctly. Damn it. All right, everybody, we have a wonderful stream for today. Thank you for joining me. Again, you can ask me anything you like about the subject at hand during the stream, but then for the final 10 minutes, I open it up and you can ask me anything that you would like. All right. So, story number 1. Hold on. Boop. All right. So, John Boyega, he's back. He took on Star Wars today with an explosive interview with GQ UK. So, hey, Sawyer Reels, thanks for joining. So, publications often have different, like a magazine will have different divisions in different countries. So, like Vogue has that, GQ, they have it for different regions. Hey, Jam Calex, thanks for joining. So, John Boyega, he's from the UK, and he spoke to GQ magazine. And he had a lot of really strong comments about Star Wars. And I feel that he was totally justified. We'll talk about them in just a moment. But I thought it was interesting because some people said that my Mandalorian comments, which got some traction yesterday, maybe also contributed to this. But I think it was the John Boyega article. Star Wars announced The Mandalorian for October 30th today. They just had a small little image. And I wondered, did Baby Yoda look a little taller to you? I hope he's a toddler. One of the things I wanted was for them to do a little bit of a time jump. I was like, he looks taller to me. But anyway, I guess maybe they just wanted people to see it, to be able to see him. But anyway, I think that Disney did that to distract from the Star Wars interview. It didn't work because while The Mandalorian did trend, to its credit, it's a great show. I liked it toward the end. I'll tell you a little bit of tea. One of the things that I heard was that there was some problems between not Kathleen Kennedy necessarily, but Lucasfilm wanted it to stick to the mission a week situation where it's like every week it's kind of a standalone, like the television shows spotlighted Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, right? So that was one thing, and they wanted to keep it going. And Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni want to do more of a connected story, like it's popular right now. I'm not quite sure how it ended up. And then there's something else that I know. And, I should have, that's partially on me for talking about something that I can't fully reveal. But, hey, Gordon Zane, but I don't want to get someone fired for a scoop. That seems like ridiculous to me, that I would make someone lose their job for a scoop. But I'm just telling you that from what I heard, there was a significant change halfway through filming. And, I can't tell you who it is, but, there might be a reason maybe they bring in a bunch of other characters. Let's just see what happens. And that's all I can really say. And I feel like this could be corrected. Maybe they came to their senses and corrected it in post. So we'll see what happens. But I have a thing where I like to tell you guys and keep you guys on the same page that I'm on and tell you what's going on so that you're that's why I think a lot of people tune in to me, because you want to be part of what's going on. And so that's one of the reasons I brought it up. I'll keep you posted, and, I'll certainly, when I feel I can talk about it more, I'll let you know. I haven't heard anything about Rosario Dawson's Ahsoka. I have no reason to believe she's not fantastic. In fact, they shot a picture, they delayed the trailer to add a shot of her, because although why on earth they would have a trailer for Mandalorian Season 2 without Ahsoka seems ridiculous to me. If I were a Disney executive and they showed me the trailer for The Mandalorian Season 2 and Ahsoka wasn't in it, I'd be like, you got to put Ahsoka in the trailer. I don't know why they had to shoot a different scene. Just so you know, the reshoots were small, but they're for the show, but then also for the trailer. So they're using some of the reshoots in the trailer, but they're adding them a little bit into the show as well. It's not a massive reshoot. I never said it was a massive reshoot. People love to twist my words. It's very frustrating to me. All right, so anyway, we're talking about John Boyega. All right, so John Boyega, I'm sorry, my contact, it's a little too bright. There we go, that's a little better. All right, so, John, and Finn, by the way, last I checked, right before I started filming, Finn is still trending on Twitter. He got Kelly Marie Tran trending. He got Ryan Johnson trending. He got, it was a big deal. And I think because he was really honest. I mean, I think one of the reasons it blew up is that people are very divided. I saw some people saying, he took the gig, he took the money, but I don't think that's fair. I agree with John Boyega. Now, it's always a danger when you speak out like this. People I think would be worried about working with you in the future because they don't want anyone to, say, you don't want anyone saying something bad about you. I mean, Hollywood is very much, anything is a business of reputation, right? So you get worried that someone will say something bad about you. And I think John Boyega was very careful to not blame anyone specifically. He blamed Disney overall as a company. Because at the end of the day, the buck does stop with Lucasfilm and Disney. Now, Ray Fisher, yes, he did also call out. Hey, Rachel McClurg. He did call out. Did I say hi to everybody who joined? I don't think I missed anybody. Gordon Zane, welcome. Okay, I got everybody. All right, so, I think that they're very frustrated. Ray Fisher called out people in particular. But I think that both these gentlemen, both Ray Fisher and both John Boyega, feel that they have nowhere else to go. They're at the end of the line. They're like, you know what? I'm not getting other gigs. Although we're going to talk about John Boyega. He does have another gig coming up, so I'm very happy for him. But they're not getting the work that their contemporaries are. And so I think they're like, you know what? I got to say something. It in fact reminds me of Chadwick Boseman, who I talked about in my tribute to him, where he said, I might have gotten fired from the soap opera for talking about what a stereotype my role was, but at least they changed it for the next actor. So I think that these guys are doing a lot of good. I mean, I think someone needs to say it, and they're saying it. And I think it's really important. I think it's tough. I mean, Constance Wu tried to say it. I think her delivery was not great, and she took a big hit for it. But she was speaking up too. I think you got to be really careful. Ray Fisher says he doesn't have a publicist. I don't know if John Boyega does, but I think you really, really need to have someone working this through you. You need to go, Rachel, I'm so glad that you joined for your first YouTube membership. I think you really need to have somebody working with you, and you say to them, this is what I want to say, and I want you to help me say it. So John Boyega said, look, in Star Wars, every actor of color, every character of color got the short end of the stick. It ended up just being the Daisy Ridley Adam Driver show, and where were we? And I got to tell you, no lies detected. That's one of my favorite things to say. No lies detected. I mean, that's pretty clear. And then also, I think that with Justice League, how about the fact that every character of color was cut from that movie once Jeff Johns took it away from Zack Snyder? Like, it's just it's like, you can argue all you want about like, oh, they took the role, or, oh, they got paid, or, hey, sometimes it just happens. And you're like, but look, it's a pattern. It's every single character of color in both movies, in both Star Wars, The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker, and in the Justice League theatrical version. I mean, he did defend J.J. Abrams, Lauren, I think because, you want to not make everyone your enemy. So I think there's that case. And also, J.J. Abrams cast him. I think that but I got to tell you, I thought that John Boyega was done wrong from day one. I thought even in the rise, The Force Awakens. Hey, the Duchess, thanks for joining. I thought that was horrible the way they treated him. I thought he was a stormtrooper who was going to defect and become a Jedi. We were all very excited about it. And I would have been fine if he was just a stormtrooper. And they gave a face to that. And they talked about stormtroopers and what was going on with them and the military through the eyes of Star Wars. I think that would also be great. But he was a space janitor, as I've said. And then he had that horrible interaction with, and also Gwendolyn Christie, by the way, also was done really poorly, and she's not, of course, she's an actress, I guess, but she's not a person of color. But it's just really bad. Like, it was just bad. Very, very bad. And so I think he's right to say that. And when you look at even what happened with Donald Glover in Solo, Donald Glover, I don't think, got the respect that he deserved. I mean, he was playing frickin' Lando Calrissian. And why was he not better portrayed in that movie? It's ridiculous. So I feel very strongly that and I also have to say, John Boyega, I know how he feels, okay? And I'm like, the noise I deal with is like a whisper compared to the deafening roar that John Boyega has to deal with people twisting his words, taking them out of context, and painting him in a really bad light. I know that a couple of times on Instagram he's gotten angry, and he's gotten angry on Twitter. Although I have to say, I've had to deal with a lot of hate over the last 3 days, basically. It's bad. I've never dealt with hate like that. I have a better understanding of what happened to Kelly Marie Tran and John Boyega. But never retreat. Never, ever retreat. I feel very strongly about this. And I hope Kelly Marie Tran comes back to Twitter, and I'm glad John Boyega hasn't left. But, I think when he snapped the other day and he was like, stop tweeting me about Star Wars. I'm not even in it anymore. I agreed with him. I was like, I feel you, John Boyega. Like, I felt while he lost his temper. But in the interview that he gave, like, if you watch the actual video of the interview that he gave for Star Wars with GQ, he just was wonderful. I think he did a fantastic job, and he was very measured, very calm, and just was laying out the facts. And I thought that was just great. So good for him, you know, and I hope that he gets more work. Now let's end this on a positive note, this particular story. And like, for instance, Mika, you're right. Oscar Isaac. John Boyega pointed out that even Oscar Isaac was sidelined, and we were all very excited about his character. It's just ridiculous. But he's doing a thriller for Netflix called They Cloned Tyrone. I think that's a great title. It's a thriller described as Friday meets Get Out, and it's Jamie Foxx, John Boyega, and Teyonah Parris, who, of course, is starring in the upcoming WandaVision as the grown-up Monica Rambeau. Now, it's a trio exploring weird goings-on in their hood, is how it's described. And that sounds a little bit like the first episode of Lovecraft Country to me, quite frankly. Oh, yeah, she's also in Candyman, Barbie Minaj. Good point. But, I mean, Lovecraft Country moved away from that pretty quickly, so let's see how this turns out. But it sounds great. I really liked John Boyega in Attack the Block. I felt kind of bad that his career never really materialized. But, you know, you wonder why that is, and then you hear him talk about this, and you're like, you really begin to see it from his perspective, and how frustrating that must be. I mean, you only get one life. I mean, John Boyega might be making it better for the next actors of color, but how horrible is it for him that he's been sidelined like this, you know, like, and he's so close, and really sabotaged by Hollywood. And I think it must be so maddening for him that he has been sidelined by Hollywood, yet uses an example of Hollywood's diversity. I mean, that's what he's saying. He's like, Hollywood says they have diversity, but look what they did to me. And he even talked about the fact that a lot of, you know, characters of color, particularly black characters in these movies, are always sweaty and freaking out and scared. And you're like, yeah, you're right. I mean, it's really uncool. I feel very bad for him. So I think he's handling this very well. I'm curious to see what happens to him and Ray Fisher. Ray Fisher's been more aggressive. I think John Boyega's taking a little bit more of a careful approach. I think the most important thing is to get additional work, to get new work. So I hope that Ray Fisher comes across really great in the Snyder Cut, and I'm glad that John Boyega has this thriller for Netflix. I think that's really important, to move on and keep doing work. All right, he was good in Detroit. That's right, he was good in Detroit. But that movie overall I thought wasn't a particularly good film, unfortunately. So I feel very bad for the situation, but I think that, I think you've found people who've reached their breaking point and feel that they have nothing to lose, and those people are very dangerous. And Hollywood created them. Hollywood created somebody who had nothing to lose. And I think that that's unfortunate. Like, remember all those people who were like, I'd work with you, John Boyega. I'd hire you, John Boyega, when he made that speech. Where the hell are they? Right? I mean, empty things like that are really appalling, which is why I got really upset when people accused me of some really horrible things about Chadwick Boseman's death. And, you know, it's now at $15,000. But of course, nobody brings that up. I mean, some people are just appalling. That's why I said you just got to block them and move on, because they're just appalling. You know, they just don't care. So it doesn't matter. You know, results. It's always like actions are louder than words. So I'm glad everybody tweeted they would hire John Boyega, but I don't see a lot of them actually doing it. All right, so let's see here. That's the first story of the day. That's right, Constance. I am ranting, but I feel it's deserved. All right, so first story of the day. Let's go to the second story of the day. Boop. All right, so speaking of Netflix, and speaking of someone else who's had a really difficult situation, these are complex. I gotta tell you, the media, being online these days, it's rough. You know, like, I don't particularly love the way that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have handled themselves, leaving the royal family, and I feel it's been a little disrespectful. But I gotta tell you, I see the comparison in media coverage between Meghan Markle and Kate, you know, William's wife, Kate. That's her name, right? I mean, she's not in the news at all anymore. It's so rough out there. At least Meghan Markle's making headlines. You know, they say there's no such thing as bad publicity. But what's her name? Kate Middleton. Thank you, Sean. Yeah, she's got to work on her PR. I forgot her name. Good God. That's really bad. That's the worst thing that can happen to you, by the way, if people don't know who you are. So find a way to make sure people know who you are. That's really bad. So anyway, I've seen things about Kate Middleton versus Meghan Markle, comparisons of the press, and it was really appalling. I thought that Meghan Markle was treated really poorly by the press. Really bad. Really, really bad. So I felt bad for her in that regard. But I think they shouldn't have said that they were leaving the royal family to live a quieter life, because they're not doing that. And that's, you got to be really careful. You got to play offense and defense. And I don't know if Prince Harry and Meghan Markle are playing the best defense. So Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have moved to California. They got themselves a very nice house. And they got themselves a deal with Netflix. They've signed a deal with Netflix, like the Obamas. But the Obamas, everybody loves the Obamas. Not everybody, but a lot of people love the Obamas. I love the Obamas. I think they're wonderful people. I think the Obamas get twisted too. I get very upset. Someone, by the way, on a side note said that, I don't like the fact that, someone accused Obama of racial division. And I'm like, Obama worked so hard for there not to be racial division. I think, so that frustrates me. But the Obamas, they're like American. We're as close as Americans get to royalty. But we don't really like royalty. We have a problem with it. So I think that's one hurdle that Prince Harry and Meghan Markle have. Because, the Obamas worked their way up from Chicago, and they worked their way up through becoming lawyers and running for president and did a lot of great stuff. Prince Harry was just born into the royal family. All right, so, as I told you before, he wanted to marry an actress. He got Meghan Markle, but, he was looking at a number of people. He was interested in marrying an actor. That's what he wanted to do. So I think even before he met Meghan Markle, Prince Harry was like, I think I'd like to work in Hollywood. Yeah, Harry trying to get Bob Iger to hire Meghan Markle was also, not cool. I don't know if he didn't know the microphones were on. I mean, their publicity is not, the way they handle themselves is not great. But they're going to only so far produce for Netflix, just like the Obamas. They're going to they have a deal where they can do anything, all right? They can produce any kind of show. They can produce live action, documentaries, animation. They're doing all kinds of stuff. And Meghan Markle's not acting, DJ Nichols. She's not. Meghan Markle's not acting in any of these projects. She maybe might do some voice work, but right now she's just producing. And I think that's the smart move. I think that's a smart move out of the gate. I think that's very smart for her. I would not act. If she goes on camera, that's going to be a disaster for her. But my only question is, how much does she mean in America? I think the royal family really only has a lot of pull. Even The Crown doesn't do very well as a show. It wins a lot of awards, but it actually doesn't have a lot of viewers. So I think that, I'm wondering how many people are going to be like, oh, a Meghan Markle, Prince Harry show, let's tune in. I mean, that's a legitimate question that I would have. I have to say, though, as a counterpoint, if I were any streaming service, I would want this deal, because they get a lot of attention and it might work out. So right now, everyone's in a streaming, arms race. They're a brand. So I would want them to go somewhere else. So, and also it builds a really nice stable for Netflix. They're like, why would you go somewhere else when we have the Obamas and Prince Harry and Meghan? We're the place that celebrities go. So I feel like that's an important distinction. But we'll see what happens. I don't know if you could really leave the royal life and launch a whole nother career that's high profile. I think at the end of the day, again, it's all about results. It's all about results. Will Prince Harry and Meghan Markle get good reviews, and will people tune in? That's all that matters at the end of the day. That's all they have to do. That's how it's like, actors. Even if you might get a bad review for your movie, you are in a big movie, you got a lot of headlines. If you can just make sure you have another project, you just keep going. So no matter what people might think of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle, you can't deny that they're getting stuff done. They got to Hollywood. They got the Netflix deal. And so let's see if they get the ratings and the views to go next. That's what they have to do next. It's very, very important. I'll be curious to see who backs them, and also what kind of content they're going to put out. Meghan Markle has been really backed up by the Black community, which I think is wonderful, particularly Jay-Z and Beyonce. And so the question is, will they be making content for the Black community? Will they be making content for everybody? I'll be very curious to see what choices they make. It's really, it's a tough call. I'm not sure what they should do, quite frankly. I think, it's going to be interesting. All right. So that is the second story of the day. All right. And, Netflix is a global distributor. So this stuff will play in the UK. So I'll be curious to see how it's accepted there. Let's see here. Morris says royals should never be a thing. Does the royal family bother any of you? I have a bit of a problem with royals in America. We don't have royalty here. I don't know why he keeps being called Prince Harry. I think he should just be called Harry, whatever his last name is. What is it, Windsor? Most people don't seem to care. Their wedding was beautiful. I loved it as much as everyone else. I thought it was like really storybook stuff. She had a wedding gown that looked just like Cinderella in the animated movie. I thought it was gorgeous. Lisa would like to see Meghan go back to acting. Maybe she could, but not if he's called Prince Harry. Mr. Harry when you're in America. That's funny, Tyler. Hey, Mr. Harry. That's really funny. I don't know. I feel like the royal family serves a purpose in the UK. Watching The Crown, I kind of understood what they do because they look out for the best interests of the country without any ulterior motive. How many times have we been upset with politicians who we know are surely don't, like on both sides, by the way? I can't tell you how many times I've listened to both Democrats and Republicans say things that I'm like, there's no way that you actually think that. But they're saying it because they want to appeal to their demographic and to the Democrat and the political party they belong to, and they want to play the game. But the point of the royal family is that the royal family doesn't play the game, and the royal family is just looking out for the history of England long term. And I think that's really great, actually. You know, if they do it, if it is a unicorn. If they do it, I mean, I don't really know if the royal family does that anymore, to some degree, quite frankly, but they should. I mean, that to me is what I felt. That's what I took from The Crown, that's what the royal family is supposed to do. Oh, yeah, you're right, Sharon. Prince Andrew with this Jeffrey Epstein stuff. I mean, it's kind of hard to get worse than that. George, who's in the UK, says as if Diana had lived, the monarchy would have been disbanded. I don't know. That's such a big part of your cultural definition and history. I don't know how you'd feel getting rid of that. I mean, maybe you'd feel great, but I mean, I wonder what it would do to your tourism business. I don't know. That's a tough question that nobody has the answer to. Okay. It's a difficult situation. All right, so that took an interesting conversation. I didn't expect us to end up talking about whether or not the monarchy should exist. But I don't know. I mean, none of my family is from England. But, you know, of course, the United States was started with a bunch of people saying we don't think we should have a royal family. So that's interesting. Swamp Thing, the No Time to Die trailer is tomorrow, and I'll be reacting to it. Liam loves the royals, see? And when I was there, I looked at Buckingham Palace, and I was like, pretty nice. And I went to Windsor Castle, and I was like, this is also very nice. But I didn't buy anything with anybody's face on it. All right, so that's the second story of the day. All right, yeah, that's right, Dancing Dog. Let's move along. All right. Boop. Final boop of the day. This is fantastic. So Star Trek Discovery has done a really great job of adding 2 new additional cast members for season 3. One is non-binary and one is transgender. So non-binary, that is the actor on the left, Blue Del Barrio, or Barrio. And non-binary, of course, means not having any assigned gender. You know, you're going by the pronouns they, them. We'll talk about other actors in just a moment who have done this, who have been trailblazers even before these 2. And then also Ian Alexander will be playing, that's the actor on the right, will be playing a transgender character. And I mean, of course, I think this is great for Star Trek. Star Trek takes place in space. Of course they're going to be on the frontier of, this kind of, breaking down these barriers. I think that I'm surprised it took Star Trek so long, quite frankly. So I think it's a really great idea. And these 2 actors look very appealing to me. Now, it reminds me also of J.K. Rowling, by the way. I don't know if you saw that the other day. She was like, take back your Kennedy Award. And you're like, what? Why would you take back your Kennedy? I mean, why are you giving that back? I think J.K. Rowling has, lost it. Talk about doing damage control. But, she's really going off on what transgender is and that transgender is, victimizing people. I don't agree. I think some people very clearly are born into the wrong body for them. I think you're seeing more and more of it, not only from things that happen, have always happened, but, there's scientific evidence that there's some chemical things that are happening, with the chemicals that are around that are causing cross wires when in the womb. So people really do come out and are in the wrong body. Like it's truly, and I would not want someone to be so uncomfortable and so unhappy. I mean, there's a different question about when the appropriate age is to transition, but I'm sure that everybody here is very, very responsible. I mean, I'm sure there's always bad people, there's always bad actors, but I'm sure they're always, sure for the most part, people are getting the good psychiatric help they need to help them make this decision and to go forward. And I've seen so many people at this point who have transitioned, who truly have transitioned into the other gender. Like, it's not like, I think for a while, I think a lot of people are still going off of the old transgender version where it was just a change of clothes. That is not what it is. You see people who fully use modern medicine to change gender quite convincingly. And I think they actually do change gender. And so I think people are very good when they talk about and they say, do you really think I should use a ladies' room or I should use a men's room? I mean, I think that that's a really important situation. So when you see these actors, like that actor on the right is transgender, that looks like a gentleman to me. And I think congratulations to him. And I think that's great. And so I think that needs to be shown. So really, really important stuff. Now let's talk about some of the people, the actors who have gone before these two. Laverne Cox, of course, on Orange is the New Black, but she was playing she was playing a transgender character. But what was really fascinating to me was Chella Mann on Titans season 2, playing Jericho, who is a trans actor, but was not playing a trans character. I thought that was really great. And I have to say, not once when I was watching that show did it occur to me that was a trans actor. I was like, that's Jericho. And I think that's fabulous. So I thought that was great. And then one of my favorite characters on Billions is Asia Kate Dillon. And they do a fabulous job playing, Taylor, just playing a really great character who their transgender aspects are part of them, but they don't define the character, which I think is really fantastic. I just think that's great. And that character, Taylor on Billions, is like a real player who's going up against all the other big players and is like really smart and capable, and I think and isn't just there as token representation. And one of the reasons you were able to eventually have Barack Obama as president is because a lot of actors were playing president, a lot of black actors were playing president in movies and TV shows. And so that's why it's so important for Hollywood to always be at the forefront of this, because you need to, take away the mystery of it by a lot of people will see new things for the first time through a television show or a movie. So that's why that's why this kind of representation, you might be like, why does it have to be in movies and TV? That's because a lot of people don't understand or, they're making assumptions about what's going on. So it needs to be presented to them. That's why I get upset with something like Birds of Prey, which makes it look like people don't care about LGBT representation because it doesn't do well. LGBT representation must do well or it will be a setback. LGBT representation done right moves everybody forward. And I think that's really great. I also think that, it's great when these things are done with love and acceptance instead of like anger. Now, I understand that sometimes people can be very angry, but I think that love and acceptance and coming from a positive place is what's most effective. And welcoming. I think, Birds of Prey kind of was like, nobody else is welcome here. This is just a movie for this community. And I think that's a problem. I think you want to create something. Like Billy Porter is a great example. Billy Porter wants to entertain everybody. And everyone is entertained by Billy Porter. And that's why I think he has such a large audience. So I think that everybody, I think that while you're representing for a community, I think you should be wanting to be able to reach everyone. And that's where people succeed the most. Like I'm sure a lot of people have watched Billions who didn't know anything about the transgender community and see the character of Taylor and they're like, they're so cool. And it totally changes how they feel. And so that's how it works. I feel very strongly about that. All right. So unicorns, there's a whole herd of unicorns running across today's stream. But I'm glad so many of you joined in. I think that's really wonderful. All right, so those are the 3 stories of the day. It's 5:42. This is a long stream. Didn't it start at around 5 o'clock? Holy crap. All right, so it's 5:42. You can ask me anything you'd like until 5:52, and then I got to get to work. I got to get back to work. I got to make the donuts. Oh, Mika, Devil All the Time. It's too early. I haven't even asked for a screener for that. That doesn't come out until, when does that come out? Netflix has so much content. That comes out September 16th. Like, it's close. So I'll probably ask for a screener like next week, but it's still a little bit too early. Right now, I'm just like trying to cover Mulan. Like, there's too much stuff coming out this weekend. It's a little frustrating for me. I'm like, where were you guys like the last 2 weeks when there was nothing happening? Let's see here. Oh, Barbie, I'm really glad that you thought that I understood the situation. As a straight person, you know, I understand that I'm an outsider talking about it. But again, I think I don't like it when people are like, oh, it's not for you to discuss. And it's like, the whole point is that, you know, we're all in this together. Hey, Don Pesalima, thanks for joining. Catalin, I just saw the Chloe Zhao article before streaming. I didn't actually get a chance to read it. I do think Nomadland is a contender. We'll see what kind of awards campaign is run for it, but it does have some momentum. That was a great article for her. Her publicist did a nice job. But nothing's going to put her on the map like Eternals. That's why you want to make a big blockbuster movie. That's how you get people to pay attention to you. Chico, my dinner plans for tonight are it's my last day for my turkey meatloaf before it goes bad. Hey, Vader's pet pig. My turkey meatloaf and mashed potatoes are going to go bad. Although the reunion, talk about toxicity. Tonight, the reunion for Real Housewives Part 1. It's a 3-parter. But Denise Richards, oh, I'm going to be in her corner. I hope they aren't too mean to her. I know they're going to be mean to her. I know she walks off because I saw it in the trailer for the reunion. But I feel very bad for Denise Richards. Oh, let's see here. Thank you, Scott. That's very sweet of you. Barbie Minaj says, do you think John Boyega could join the DCEU? I'd be shocked, quite frankly, if he wanted to. I don't know if he'd want to. I think he's probably had enough of this kind of fandom for a little bit. But he should take whatever. I think John Boyega should not be turning down work right now. I think he needs a really successful role. I love what he's doing, but the next step is a big hit. That's what he should be saying to his agent. He's like, you got to put me in something that's good. He's a really good actor, but he hasn't had a chance to show it off because he's had such bad roles. Let's see here. Juan says, any guess when we'll be getting MCU news? You know, I got to tell you, I thought that we would be getting it. I thought that maybe there was a delay in MCU news because everybody was dealing with Chadwick Boseman's sickness. But then the Hollywood Reporter reported today, and we can't really talk about this because it's disrespectful at this point, but I just want to say that I was pretty darn surprised to find out that Chadwick Boseman never told anybody at Marvel or Disney that he was sick. No, and his agent didn't tell them either. And that he didn't have to have a physical because it was a big blockbuster. And I did feel very sad to hear that Chadwick Boseman felt he was going to get better up until like the very end. That's really sad to me. That he felt like even like just a week before or so that he would recover and be able to put weight back on to do Black Panther 2. That's really sad. But I'm just really surprised that he didn't tell Marvel about it. I suspect that the only thing that I will say is I think going forward, just like there's a disclosure, just like there's a morals clause, I think there will probably be a disclosure clause. Although, what are you going to do? I mean, what would be Marvel's ability? You know, like it would be horrible for them to do anything about it. So it's just, you know what? Who cares? As far as I'm concerned, I gotta tell you, I think there's an easy way forward with Shuri. I heard they were going to do Shuri anyway, and they were both going to be in it. I told you I feel pretty strongly that I would just level up M'Baku and do Shuri, and I think Chadwick Boseman was incredible in the role, and I wouldn't change a thing, quite frankly, as to how things went down. I wouldn't change a thing. But it's sure sad, boy. Mika says, what are my thoughts about the Static Shock movie? I think it's great. I love Static Shock. And I think that what they're trying to do with Milestone Comics is fantastic. Jigo says, what are your thoughts on Elizabeth Olsen being bullied about Chadwick Boseman? I don't know if she was. That's the story that everyone's brought out. So that's fine, okay? But I don't know if it's true, so it's difficult for me to comment on it. Again, I've been horribly bullied since Friday night. I'll never forget it. I looked at my Twitter to see what was going on, and I was like, 13 DMs? What could possibly have happened? And it was Chadwick Boseman had passed away. And I mentioned Black Panther 2 in my tweet because I saw so many people tweeting about it. And so I was like, of course, that's very far away. So we really shouldn't be thinking about it, but I wouldn't worry about it. And then it's been a nightmare from then on out. So I can certainly understand why Elizabeth Olsen maybe would shut down her account. But again, never retreat. I feel very strongly about this. You just can't retreat. Everybody's dealing with the same crap. Everybody. 8 a.m. is the trailer, Sean, tomorrow. Thank you for telling me. I have to make sure I get up really early. I'll be like, no time to die. No time to wake up. That's right, Portis. Everyone is brave behind a monitor. There's just a lot of hate right now. Like, people are nuts. Like, I felt bad, but then I was, like, reminded of how everybody else has to deal with the same crap. And I was like, this is just part of being on social media. Like, I just want to say on a side note, sometimes I will, like, bring it up and vent, but I'm really trying not to bring it up too much in my tweets because just because I have to deal with it, I don't think you should have to deal with it. You guys didn't sign up for that. You follow me for movie news and discussion. So I just try and stay positive and keep it that way. But I just want, that's why, even though sometimes I do like retweet someone. And also, I got to tell you, I will tell you that I think a number of people come after me to try and raise their own profile. Hey, Emily. And they're trying to bait me into fighting with them. So that's another reason that I'll never call out anyone specifically, because I believe that's fully what they're doing. So, fine. Hey, Raphael. Raphael says, what if Disney recasts Black Panther? I think that there's no way Kevin Feige's that stupid. I don't think they'll ever recast T'Challa. Someone else, as I said, can wear the mantle. But Shuri better be one of them. I mean, it's going to be just as bad if they sidestep Shuri, because it's in the comics. They would be robbing a black female character of something that's very important. Dylan Verbeek says, what are you the most excited about for The Mandalorian Season 2? I got to tell you, Ahsoka. That's why when I heard that she wasn't in the first cut of the trailer, you're like, what are you, nuts? I mean, that's what I'm the most excited to see. Although there's a controversy with Rosario Dawson and some of her comments that she's made that I got to tell you is not going away. So I'm not sure if that's going to become a problem for the show or not. Moviegoer 727, I did wonder why Hair Love was trending, and I did see that Made by Maddie by Nick Jr. is a total ripoff of that short, which is appalling. I can't believe that anyone would make a ripoff, but I can't believe that an executive wouldn't notice it and that nobody would step forward and be like, whoa, you're ripping off an Oscar-winning short. I mean, it's just shocking to me. So few people have any, morality. So many people are horrible. It's just incredible to me. The world's a rough place. Dancing Dog 60, I hope your PC is okay. Barbie points out this is why Joker was so powerful. Barbie, it's funny that you bring that up because I actually thought of that this morning. With him just saying, how horrible people were to him and they just didn't care what happened to him. And he said, you're all so sad about these Wayne employees, Wayne Enterprises employees, but if I was dead, you'd just step right over my body. And I thought he was, still to me, as soon as I heard the line, wait till you hear some of the lines in Mulan. I'm so excited for you guys. We're going to watch this together on Friday. Think Noodle, I am planning to review the Avengers game, but it's 5 hours long, so I'm going to have to watch it over Labor Day weekend and then review it after. Mika, I don't think Blade can replace Black Panther. It's a totally different property at a different level. Blade is a smaller character. Black Panther is a whole Wakanda. It was an ensemble film. I don't think you can do that. I don't know, Roy. It might be slow next week, so maybe I will review it. Zeester, you can stay. How fantastic. Oh, it's 5:52. Okay, I'll do 2 more questions, and then I got to go. Giovanni, I don't have TikTok because there's some thoughts that, you might be giving your information to the Chinese government, so I don't have it. Juan, I'm glad you got your question answered. AJ Jones says, is Shuri the next Tony Stark? I don't know. I think Peter Parker might be. Maybe they can do it together. I'll do a few more questions. I love talking to you guys so much. Think Noodle S says, you think Miles could get a faster move up now? I think he's moving pretty fast because he has this video game coming up, but I think that's Sony, so it's a little bit different. But I hope he does. I think Miles is a great character. I love Miles so much. Thanks, Raj. Rudolph, similar name. Thanks, Terry. We'll see, by the way, if Wonder Woman 1984 and Dune move. I heard there's a 90% chance they're going to move. But there still means 10% they won't. But I had to be extra careful when I tweeted that today because people are being jerks. But yeah, I heard 90% chance that Wonder Woman and Dune will move. And I got to tell you, I'm not surprised. I think that Wonder Woman should move because I was wondering how the heck I was going to see it. I was like, I'm going to have to Uber out to New Jersey if they haven't opened New York theaters because I can't miss Wonder Woman. So I actually thought of that the other day. I was like, I'm going to Uber to New Jersey and go see it because I don't have a car. So I was like, how am I going to get there? So I was like, fine, I'll put my goggles on and my mask and I'll Uber over to New Jersey. Because Governor Cuomo says he wants to see how schools do first before he opens New York State theaters. But New York schools don't open until September 21st. So that's not like that's not enough time for 2 weeks to see for Wonder Woman. So I think that there's a very strong chance that Los Angeles and New York theaters will be closed by the first weekend of October, and that's going to be a big problem. I also feel, I'll talk about this when they probably do move, but I'll just tell you now since you're watching the stream, that I feel there's a very good chance that they feel Tenet also needs more space. They're like, when someone can finally see a movie, they'll be like, well, let me go see Tenet, because apparently that needs to be seen on the big screen. So I think that's another reason. They're like, we can't have these movies so close together. Tenet needs not 1 month, but 2 months. And so that also makes sense to me, quite frankly. All right, everybody, thank you so much for joining me. I had a lovely time, as always, with you guys. I love talking to you so much. I'm so glad the streams are back, and I'm having a great time. And there's another stream tomorrow at around 4 or 5 o'clock. And then, of course, we're watching Mulan together at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Same bat time, same bat channel. All right, everybody, have a great day. Bye.